you're going to press the like button. And if you have not subscribed, you will subscribe. And hello, everyone. This is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of the Ukraine war for the day of 1044 for the 2nd of January, or also known as the Special Military Operation in Ukraine by the Russian Federation. So we're going to start off with the news from the Russian Defense Ministry that the Ukrainian Su27 was shot down over Ukraine over the past 24 hours or maybe 48 hours, because this is the yesterday's Russian Defense Ministry report. So it's unknown where this shutdown happens, but it was shot down by air defense system. So which means that the Su27 was going for some kind of attack run, and then it got shot down. So we're going to start off with the front lines at the Kursk front. So at the Kursk front, the Russian forces continue their operations over in the western flank, with fighting reported at Nikolaevo, Darino, Nizhny Klin, towards Loknia and Leonidovo. So this continues to be a thing for the western flank. In the northern flank, the Russian forces continue to put a lot of pressure in this sector, with fighting reported at Pogrebki, Marevka, Novaya Sorokina, Staraya Sorokina, as well as Malaya Loknia. So this continues to be the thing. I still do not know where the attack towards Malaya Loknia actually come from, even up to this point. So there's a high chance it's coming from the east, which means that the Russian forces may have a much more advanced position over this sector, which also means that the Ukrainian forces actually have a very difficult to defend salient along the railway line. So that is a possibility. Over on the southern flank, the Russian forces seems to have expanded expanded their operations around the Sudzha region. Of course, this could just be a shelling report, but Goncharovka was mentioned, probably shelling. Fighting is also, all shelling is reported at Sudzha, Zamoste, Manovka. So there is definitely some heavy actions happening around the Sudzha region. Fighting is also reported at Kurelovka. So this is something to watch as the Russians start the 2025 New Year, and actually this started from New Year Eve, becoming really intense towards this sector. As mentioned, 30th, 31st, the Russians have started this new sector of attack. Over in the Kharkiv front, at the Kharkiv front, we have fighting reported over at Lipsy and Voschansk. In the Russian Defense Ministry report, Sosnivka was mentioned. This location, Vilsha, was mentioned as well as this Pokalyani was mentioned, Pokalyani was mentioned, which is just next to Vochansky Kotori. So this is the Kharkiv situation. There's not this doesn't seem to be like a new offensive operation in this sector. So tentatively, that's what it is. In the Voreshna region, there is still fighting reported at Voreshna as well as Zapadny. In contrast, Kupiansk front went quiet. There's nothing over at the Kupiansk region. In the Pichani front and Borova region, there is fighting only reported at Krylyakivka, Zeleny High, and Nadia. So that's all we have. And then we move on from this sector over in the Kharkivka, Makiivka region. Makiivka was mentioned, but Kharkivka was not. And in the Liman front, we have fighting being reported at Terny, Torske, as well as Serebiansky Forestry. In the Liman direction report, they also mentioned Kharkovivka, which is probably next to Serebiansky Forestry. Maybe the fightings in the north within the forest region along the rivers, the Seversky Donets River. So over at the Sivers front, we have fighting reported at Bilohorivka and Sivers. The frontline change was already mentioned yesterday, in the yesterday's SITREP, where the Russian forces basically have been geolocated in the center of Bilohorivka, as they seem to be pushing harder into this region here. So something to watch out for, but tentatively, I left it red because I wanted to do frontline changes report later. But the Ukrainian mapping did not update their map the past 5 hours. They did an update much longer ago, which was like before the SITREP, which was technically considered like not really today's report. It's more like a yesterday thing. So let's see how this play out later. If not, we'll just do battlefield analysis. There's a lot of things to really talk about. And over in the Bakhmut front, fighting is reported at Chasivia and Stupovsky. So that's what we have in Bakhmut front. Over in the Toretsk front, interestingly, New York was mentioned by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Otherwise, fighting is reported at Toretsk, Shebenevka, and New York. Like where exactly in New York is unknown. So this probably is going to be on the western part of New York because everything else is already taken by the Russians. Over in the northern flank of the Pokrov front, we have fighting reported at Vozdevizhenka and Myrolyubivka. Vozdevizhenka was already almost near full capture by the Russian forces based on the Russian claims. Shelling is reported over at Tarasivka. Yeah, and previously we do have fighting reported at Baranivka. So it could be like the Russians could potentially have progressed northward after taking Baranivka. That is also a possibility, but less likely. Because I don't believe in the massive captures so quickly. So over in the Pokrov sector, we have fighting reported at Lysivka, Verozhenia, Shevchenko, Zvirove, Pishchane, Solone, Novovasilivka, and Uspenivka. So this occupying continues to be trying to expand outwards. There is not much frontline changes over the past 24 hours to really talk about. So we can't be sure because the SITREP was also a bit late yesterday, which is why a lot of the frontline changes for this that was reported yesterday was actually reported in the SITREP yesterday. So yeah, so that was what it is, but it's okay, because we can still talk about other stuff. In the southern flank of the Pokrov front, we have fighting reported over at Sripne. So this is the first time I saw Sripne was being mentioned. So this is a new direction probably coming down from Novoyelizavetivka. Geolocation of Russian forces in the south of Yelizavetivka was noted. Slovianka continues to be reported to be fighting. Moving into the Kurakove front, we have fighting reported at Petropavlivka towards Andrievka, Shevchenko, Dashny, as well as in the Kurakove itself. So this strategically nothing particularly new in this sector. Over in the Uspenivka region, this one was already mentioned in the SITREP with the Russian forces geolocated in the north of Konstantinopolsk as they move towards Yantarne, which is where the fighting is being reported. Geolocation of Ukrainian forces of Uklakli hit by a tank hit by FPV drone was noted. Otherwise, in the Constantinople region, we have fighting reported at Constantinople as well as Rozliv. Geolocation of Russian forces, moving in the direction of Rozliv was shown. So was actually reported. So that's about it. And so, like I mentioned, this is a primary objective, strategically super important. So I believe the Ukrainians are putting up a very strong defense to protect Constantinople. The fall of Constantinople will collapse the entire Kurakove sector. So this entire front line will collapse without Constantinople. So now this is very, very critical settlement for the Ukrainians. Over in the Velika Novosilka sector, the Russian forces fight at Velika Novosilka, Vremevka. Shelling is reported at Vinopole, and Novosilka was also mentioned. Otherwise, that's all. We don't have any more details and updates regarding the latest situation. Over in the Zaporizhia front, Novoandreevka continue to be reported to be fighting, whereas the Russian sources, the Russian reporting actually mentioned Bilokhirya, noting the geolocation at Bilokhirya that I have mentioned in yesterday's reports. So that's all from that's all for Orekiv sector of the Zaporizhia front. Opposite the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, Novokayamka was shelled, according to the the Russian Defense Ministry. And also interestingly, as I was mapping, I noted that this square of the satellite imagery was updated just north of Dnipro Rudny or Balki. As you can see, the current waterways in this Dnipro reservoir is a mess. Like, how do you even sail through this is beyond me. Like, this is like a puzzle. If you're gonna get lost, trying to sail through this rivers, and then it's like, oh, I'm stuck. Then it's like you're trying to figure out where the hell you're going. Like, for example, my mouse is trying to go through the river to the south, and then it's like, where the hell am I going? Like, it's super complicated. And of course, I'm looking at it from a satellite imagery. I know where's the north and south. But if you're sailing, you're 100% gonna get lost. Like, you're gonna get lost for sure. So, and which means that a naval crossing, like an amphibious assault across the Dnipro River, at least along this side, is near impossible. So, so that's for sure. So when we zoom out, we have this imagery. So this is way more complicated than what we can see from like this angle. Like, actually, it's way more complicated. If I zoom in, like, we can't even see the details. It's so low res. So it's only this part that we can actually see in terms of some kind of details. And this is like the river from hell. So yeah. Over in the Kherson front, we have shelling reported over at Stepney, Antonivka, Kherson. The Ukraine Defense Ministry mentioned fighting in the Dnipro direction, but that's all. We do not have any more details regarding that. And the Ukrainian Defense Ministry also boasted about some missile attack on alleged Russian military facilities. But yeah, I don't report on shelling in that kind of level, so it's not important. But yeah, just to mention in case people is like wondering about it. And that's about it. There's also a very brutal soldier one-on-one hand-to-hand combat footage with the Russian soldier with a knife. He looked like someone from the Siberian region, a bit Asian looking, but definitely Russian. And then yeah, it ended with the death of this Ukrainian soldier. The footage is the GoPro of the Ukrainian soldier, and yeah, it was a horrific video. So you can find the video in the Telegram, the DPA's Telegram, the DPA forum. It's inside the forum. You can find it in the Gore channel. It's just horrific. So it's not for the faint-hearted. And it's just another show of the brutality of wars. Why I don't like wars. I like wars to stick within games, computer games, and movies. I'm perfectly fine with wars in game and movies. I love war in that sense, but I hate it in real life because I was a soldier, and also I know how it's like, being in the trenches, digging the freaking trench, living in those dirty environment. And then, not to mention, in modern warfare, you're definitely 100% going to have PTSD over drones. And like, you always have to look at the sky. The drones might hunt for you inside your bunker. And then you usually die without seeing the enemy. And when you actually see the enemy, it becomes so brutal, and then you get stabbed to death. Like, it's freaking scary. So yeah. So anyway, thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys. Yeah, and I said, I already feel it. I'm quite sure you already subscribe and press like. So I don't have to repeat it again. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next update.